afternoon. Welcome back to Red Cloud's Red Cloud Oktoberfest Fall Showcase. Up next, we have CanAlaska Uranium. Presenting for the company is President Peter Dasler and CEO and Executive Vice President Cory Belyk. They're going to tell us about all the fun things they're doing up in the Athabasca Basin. Reminder, gentlemen, that you have 15 minutes in total, 10 minutes for presentation, 5 minutes for questions. Anybody who has questions online, please register in the link below. And with that, Peter and Cory, I'll turn it over to you.
Excellent, Chad. And ladies and gentlemen, I do appreciate you being here. We've got active drill programs at the moment. We're drilling on our West McArthur project, and Denison's drilling on our Moon project. And we've had some success earlier this year with drilling on our Waterbury South project. I think it's timely to remind you to look for those results. I think there's some very interesting stuff happening just as this uranium market's moving. So with that introduction, I'd like to introduce Cory. He's running operations in Saskatoon and has got a good crew in the field. And I'm very pleased to be here with the company at this stage. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Peter, and thank you, Chad and Red Cloud for this opportunity to present. You know, it really is about carbon-free energy and investing in that. And, you know, first and foremost for CanAlaska, it's about uranium. We've also got copper in our portfolio. We've also got a really strong nickel portfolio in Manitoba. But really, it's about that carbon-free energy and getting involved in the in what that looks like moving forward. Sorry, stuck on a slide here somehow. There we go. We're a well-structured company. Okay, we're ready for the next cycle. We've only got about 82 million shares outstanding. We have 5.8 million in the bank. Price of uranium is moving. Our stock is moving with it. And, you know, there's every opportunity for CanAlaska and its shareholders to really do well in the next upturn, which looks to be upon us. We've got a strong board, well connected through the US and Canada. Most recently, we've been bringing in new people to build the CanAlaska team again ahead of this cycle. Mr. Nathan Bridge has joined us from Cameco, a very bright young geoscientist that's now the VP of Exploration. He knows what he's looking for. He's worked at West McArthur. He's worked at the Fox Lake deposit just 2 kilometers away in Millennium, Cigar Lake, Eagle Point. The image you see behind me is from Eagle Point. He knows what he's looking for. He's going to lead this team into discovery. Greg Goodmanson comes over from Orano. 16 years of experience with the French giant in the basin. Again, a wealth of knowledge, 140 years of basin experience and discovery, multiple discoveries in our team, and we're ready for this upturn. We're an active explorer and project generator, really a hybrid model. We research, acquire, deal, and ultimately work toward that discovery and creating capital gains for our shareholders. Our projects are centered in the uranium space in the Eastern Athabasca, in and around all that critical infrastructure that are the 3 mills, 2 mines, all the roads, everything that it takes to deliver on an asset. We've got 300,000 hectares of property in the Athabasca Basin. In 2021, we've been very busy. In particular, we drilled a new discovery at our Waterbury South project, which we'll look at in a second, a polymetallic zone of uranium mineralization akin to Cigar, Key Lake, or the Midwest deposit. We're drilling right now as we speak on our West McArthur project. We've already announced a high-grade intersection. We continue to drill that program and expand the 42 zone discovery area. And our partner, Denison, our new partner on the Moon Lake South joint venture, is currently drilling on those targets. Really a lot of news flow coming in the next few weeks from 2 uranium projects in the Athabasca Basin. In Q1 of next year, we're probably looking at a nickel program in Thompson, Manitoba, through our partnership with D-Block Discoveries. Really exciting 2021. I won't belabor the market because we know it's good. We know people are getting on board, in particular around SMR, small modular reactors, and what its impact might be on the future of uranium. So our portfolio is centered in the Athabasca Basin, in and around the Athabasca Basin, in the Eastern Athabasca, around all that critical infrastructure. We've got a great set of projects in the Thompson Nickel Belt and the neighboring province of Manitoba. Again, 5th largest nickel belt on the planet. We're well positioned there with nickel assets. It's really about uranium for us, and it's in our name, CanAlaska Uranium. Our targets span shallow, mid-depth to deep targets. Everything from an Arrow or Eagle Point analog through to a McArthur River. And being out in the deep sandstone is not an issue. You know, if you think about McArthur, it's $50 million more in shaft to get down to those targets. It's all going to be frozen anyways. It's not an issue when you're talking about multi-billion-dollar assets. We can use this depth to our advantage to explore these deposits like McArthur and Cigar come with very large alteration halos when you're on one of these tier 1 mineralizing events. We've got one of those at our West McArthur project. It's an alteration halo that looks every bit like a Cigar and McArthur type analog. We're drilling 8% uranium at the unconformity, along with this large alteration halo here shown roughly to scale. On the left, our 42 zone discovery alteration halo is shown in yellow above the unconformity, above the 8% uranium against the Cigar Lake size. We're on a large mineralizing event. It truly looks like a tier 1 system, and that's what you need. And there's very few of these in the Eastern Athabasca that we know of. Where's the 42 zone discovery? It's 12 kilometers away from the McArthur River deposit, the world's richest, highest grade uranium mine, 650 million pounds at roughly 15% average grade, just 12 kilometers away. We're around all that critical infrastructure. We can drive here year round to our project area. We've been drilling 8% uranium. We're currently drilling on the 42 zone target and targets just around it. Again, looking for that tier 1 deposit. So we've got multiple opportunities in the 42 zone area. We spent last year looking at old data, revisiting the chemistry. We've come up with 4 target areas. One's the 42 zone area, but A, B, and C here are shown are target areas where we see the alteration, we see the chemistry suggestive of these tier 1 deposits, but we haven't tested at the ideal target at the unconformity where we're already seeing the 8% uranium at 42 zone. This is over about 1 to 2 kilometers away from 42 zone. This is exactly what happens at Cameco's Fox Lake deposit, just 2 kilometers on the same structural trend. Multiple zones of mineralization host to 70 million pounds at 8%. McArthur River, just 12 kilometers away, 6 zones of mineralization. One of those zones holds 350 million pounds of uranium in the size of a North American football field. That's the type of target we're looking for over this 2 or 3 kilometers around the 42 zone. There's a lot of exploration upside here. Again, multiple opportunities for discovery. Why is it important? Our partners, Cameco and West McArthur, they have a need at the Key Lake Mill. Imagine a world in 15 years when McArthur restarts where 20% of the global uranium production comes offline. That's 15 years away. That's the time it takes to take one of these tier one deposits and move it into production. Our partner Cameco has a need at the Key Lake Mill. We have access to that mill. We're 12 kilometers away from that haul road that can take it right to Key Lake. Incredible opportunity for our shareholders upon discovery of that tier 1 deposit. We've got a lot of other projects in our portfolio away from West McArthur. Again, everything from basement analogs to mid-depth to deeper targets. They're all available for joint venture and opportunities for others to join us. In the winter, we spent our money at Waterbury South. Again, just 7 kilometers away from Cigar Lake. Cigar Lake will be done production in 7 years. It's just 7 kilometers away from Cigar Lake, 2 kilometers off the Cigar Lake Haul Road. We drilled into a new discovery with our 3rd and last hole of the winter program. We drilled 2.5% nickel, 2.5% arsenic, 800 ppm cobalt, along with uranium enrichment and mineralization at the unconformity with a large alteration halo shown here in yellow. The ideal target has yet to be tested at the unconformity. In addition, we saw 150 meters of deep alteration into the basement. Waterbury South is in fact a polymetallic uranium mineralized zone. Half the deposits in the Athabasca Basin are polymetallic like this. Key Lake had 2.5% average grade nickel. It was mined for uranium. Cigar Lake, same. It has a lot of nickel, a lot of arsenic. The Midwest deposit nearby, a lot of nickel, a lot of arsenic. We don't know of an analog where we get 2% average grade nickel in the absence of a significant uranium mineralized zone. There just isn't an analog in the basin like this. So we believe we're on the cusp, we're on the edge of one of these large systems that looks a lot like a Cigar Lake. And again, 7 kilometers from Cigar Lake. Our Cree East project, the size of Greater Toronto, it's 40 kilometers away from the Key Lake Mill. Again, that mill needs feed in 15 years. It's got 9 zones of uranium enrichment already identified. These zones are polymetallic, just like Waterbury South, just like Key Lake, just like Cigar Lake. Nickel, arsenic, cobalt, along with the uranium, deep alteration into the basement in the case of Zone A. Ideal target not yet tested at Zone B, despite all the indications of the enrichment and mineralization associated with it. These are polymetallic zones of mineralization that are just ready for that next discovery. We've been busy staking, adding new ground. Our North Millennium project is an extension of Cameco's Millennium deposit. It's hosted by a north-south major structure which trends into our property area and disrupts the conductors in the basement. Again, structural preparation for the deposition of uranium. North Millennium, a great project with great potential. We've been busy staking outside the basin margins, some new models around Geikie, around baseload 92 Energy's activity in the last couple of months. We've got our partner Denison drilling our Moon Lake South joint venture, 4 wonderful geophysical targets, all on this project, about 5 kilometer length of structure associated with their Griffin deposit, just a few kilometers to the northeast. Denison's drilling this right now. We're probably got a couple weeks left in this program. Expect news coming from the Moon Lake South joint venture and Denison as they complete this program. Again, mineralization already identified. We're looking to build on that story and produce more results. So stay tuned. We've been busy doing deals, getting access ahead of the upturn in uranium. We've picked up an option on what we're calling the Key Extension Project. Why are we calling it that? Because it has the extension of Cameco's Key Lake deposit structure, the host structure that hosts 150 million pounds of uranium right by the mill. We're just 10 kilometers, 15 kilometers away from that. We have that fault zone on our property, doesn't have a single drill hole in it. It's just brilliant access to one of these major structures in the basin that's host again to significant uranium mineralization nearby. Just a wonderful project to add into our portfolio. Again, outside the basin margins, focused on basement shallow deposits along the critical Key Lake structure. We've got a part 2 to our portfolio, nickel. We've been busy in the low uranium period building value for our shareholders. In the EV market or the green energy market, nickel, sulfide nickel. We focused on the world's 5th largest sulfide nickel belt in the neighboring province of Manitoba, right up against Vale's Thompson smelter. We're the 2nd largest landholder against Vale in this belt now. We've got a series of projects that we've put together over the last number of years. A couple of new ones here resting in halfway. They've got 32 kilometers of structures, mineralization scattered throughout, in some cases well over 1% of nickel. Again, sparsely drilled, hasn't seen a fresh round of exploration in several decades, ripe for the opportunity to go in, do some geophysics, create targets, and look closely for other mineralized zones of sulfide nickel that, you know, is right near that infrastructure that is Vale's Thompson smelter. So again, a part 2 to CanAlaska's story, but in the low period, we built an incredible sulfide nickel portfolio in one of the best mining jurisdictions on the planet in Manitoba. We've got copper assets in British Columbia in the Quesnel Trough, historically a great place to look for copper. Our partner drilled our Mouse Mountain project. Omanika is the partner. They drilled into low-grade copper just on the fringes of what they think is actually the copper system. We've got our VMS target in Manitoba around the Rutan mine, the 3rd largest underground VMS deposit in Canada historically. We've got a target that's the same size right next door that has mineralization already identified and the few holes have been drilled into it. Again, wonderful targets, wonderful assets in Manitoba and Saskatchewan and British Columbia, Canada. And again, the focus is on uranium. We've got a number of discoveries within our portfolio, utilizing that project generator and that hybrid model of exploring for these targets where it makes sense for our shareholders, you know, reducing the risk where we can for our shareholders, all to provide that real upside for them on discovery, whether it's using our shareholder money or bringing in partners to move these projects forward. An incredible portfolio in the Athabasca Basin and the nickel space in Thompson, Manitoba. We're advancing new discoveries at Waterbury South. We're advancing new discoveries at West McArthur. We've got other discoveries waiting to be advanced at Cree East. It's an incredible portfolio in the world's best uranium district, in and around all the critical infrastructure that is Cameco and Oranos in the Eastern Athabasca Basin. I invite you to our website at www.canalaska.com to see more and learn more about the company. And thank you for your attention. That's CanAlaska.
Thank you, Cory. I implore everybody to go back and look at some of those reviews and some of the latest drill results we've put out. And of course, once we get assays, we'll have more results to come. But thank you, Cory.
You're welcome.
Guys, we're just perfect on time. Thank you again for participating and look forward to seeing the results and the news flow coming from CanAlaska.
Yeah, I saw one note there about financing. We've financed a small amount. We basically did that financing in 2 days and turned down a large amount of financing. We believe that we have more value in the company, but we needed to move forward with some cash so that we can start drilling in January ourselves. We also got ongoing programs that have to be completed and bring in more staff and continue very strongly over the next years. Thank you.
Perfect. Thanks, Peter. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Chad.